the owner of G.J. Andrews Food and Wine Shop. George Andrews is in to talk about some of the stuff they have in their shop and talk about barbecue season. So good morning, George.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure to have you here for sure, especially we're talking about food, one of my favorite subjects.
Mine too.
Music, food, that's two of the greatest.
Wine,
absolutely.
Barbecuing.
Love, all those sorts of things are great to talk about. We're going to talk about the love of food right now. So first of all, for those that may not be familiar with your shop, how long you guys been around for?
31 years this past February 9th. That was our anniversary for 31, and still going strong and loving it.
Same location?
We're 21 years at this location.
Years.
We started on Stafford and Grosvenor. That was our first 10 years.
I think I do remember that.
Yeah, and then we moved 21 years ago to Academy and never looked back. It's been absolutely fabulous.
So this is your baby?
This is my baby.
You've been there since
day
one?
Is. 31 years, and I still love it. I still love going to work. I still love what I do. I love the people that we interact with. I love food, wine. It's all wonderful.
No kidding. So we're going to talk a little bit about barbecue season, obviously, and some of the amazing meats you guys have on offer there as well. But there's a lot of other things that you offer. It's not. I mean, you walk into your shop and you're not greeted by the counter there of the butcher counter. You're greeted by baked goods. You're greeted by just to your left you've got all these amazing vegetables, and then a whole array of different food
we've got a lot of what we call specialty gourmet items, everything from snacking foods to things that you can use when you're cooking. So ingredients to make your food that much better, to make your meal really simple but really gourmet. Even in the way of things like which we'll talk about, barbecue sauces and toppings and salsas and mustards. We've got over 45 different mustards, over 48 different salsas. We've got about 35 to 40 different barbecue sauces at any one time. So and a complete broad range of flavors in these. Everything from truffle mustards and honey mustards to cowboy cherry barbecue sauce or salsa, to Rufus Teague's my favorite, actually, the honey sweet barbecue sauce. So we've got such a broad range of ingredients that can help make your meal different each time. People often will say to me, I cook, I'm always cooking chicken and it's just so boring. And I say, well, you can keep cooking chicken, but try it with this and try it with this and give them different topics. Give them an exciting new salsa that they've never had before. Tell them to put the salsa on their chicken after they've cooked it. And it just makes the meal gourmet, simple, and delicious.
So how do you go about, you've got a great staff there. How do you go about educating them with all this stuff? You're not talking one or two different choices, right? It's not a Heinz ketchup and a Heinz mustard. It's just this whole plethora of different things. Do you guys have a tasting there or something? Or how does it all work?
We do that with the staff. The other thing we do is we encourage them just to kind of immerse yourself in the store. And when they see me talking with the customer, because often they'll call me up. If they're new, they'll say, there's a customer asking about something. And I say to them, stay there and listen. So let me and ask me anytime they have questions. I've got a manager that is very, very food knowledgeable. She's excellent. She handles all our catering. She does basically runs the store, and she's fantastic. So ask her, ask me, and when you ask, stay and listen. We tell the staff, learn from it, and then we also offer the staff a nice discount to encourage them to purchase items and take them home and try them so that they also are aware. Generally, we draw people that do apply to work with us. We draw people that are interested in food, have an interest, like cooking, and already have a little bit of that going on. And then they just love where they work because of the selection and the choices and the opportunity to try so many new things in food.
Yeah, every day is a celebration. Yeah, every day is a celebration of food there, right? People come in. I've been in there a bunch of times too, and when you come in, it's an exciting experience, because you come in there with maybe something in mind, and you can find that, but also when you make your way around all the different shelves and the rows there, you're always tempted by something new.
And one of the things I try and encourage customers to do is enjoy food all the time, not cook just to survive during the week, and then when we have company coming over, then we do something special. It's very simple to do something special for yourself every meal. You don't have people will often say to my wife, "Oh, you must eat gourmet meals every day." And she'll say, "Well, no, it's just kind of, it's just a regular." And I'll say to her, "But what you don't realize is that what you see as regular, a lot of people see as gourmet because we eat this every day, so you see it as regular. And everybody can do that. And you don't have to go and spend a lot of money on every meal. It's very simple to make each meal a gourmet meal without spending a lot of money.
Just come and ask you about it.
Absolutely.
There you go. So once you've made your way, I mentioned again, I was talking with George Andrews, the owner of G.G. Andrews Food and Wine Shoppe on Academy Road. And now that he's tempted us with some of these sauces, and you make your way past all the sauces, if you can make it that far back in this store, you'll get to the meat counter. And that's sort of one of your specialties as well, right?
Yeah, it's kind of for me, it's really my pride and joy of the store. What we do, nobody does in town. As a matter of fact, we buy our beef from Alberta. That's all I buy is Alberta beef. And we have people from Alberta come into town, customers that used to live here, and buy steaks from me and take them back to Alberta because they can't buy what we sell. And we sell prime grade. Excuse me.
Yep.
We sell prime grade, and we age excessively. We won't sell a steak unless it has a minimum of 50 days on it. Generally, we run over 80. Right now, we've got New Yorks and ribeyes that are running 123 days on the New Yorks and 120 days on the ribeyes. And now this is all wet aged. The quality difference, I say to people, you could take your teeth out and gum them. They're so tender. And the high grade with the excessive aging makes them an absolute delight.
So what are the secrets then of when you throw it on the barbecue to keeping it sort of tender and moist?
The meat's going to be tender when you buy it from us automatically.
Yep.
And we don't encourage people to marinate our meats and we have marinades, but if you're going to use that, I would say sirloin or lower grade. And our sirloin is phenomenal. You don't even need to marinate it. The secret to keeping it moist is don't overcook it. And I've heard this. I used to say to customers when they'd come in and they'd say, "Oh, I want to try something different for dinner." And I'd say, "How about pork chops?" They'd say, "No, I don't like pork. It's always too dry." And I always say to them, the meat's not dry. It's only dry if you overcook it. You don't start out with a dry piece of meat. You start out with a nice moist piece of meat. But if you overcook it, and when I explain to people about how to cook it properly, then they try it, they end up loving it. And they come back and they will order it over and over again. And then I'll recommend different toppings to them so that it's not just a pork chop with their seasoning, but they can make it exciting, different. Pork tenderloin, the same thing. With the steaks, which is my favorite, and ribeye steak is my all-time favorite cut because of the marbling and the flavor that marbling adds to the meat. The higher the marbling, the higher the quality, the higher the grade. The higher the grade, the more expensive the meat is. So we only buy top grades. We buy prime grade beef, and it's beautiful. And then we age it excessively. When you cook it, you know the difference in an instant. The minute you bite into it, you know the difference. Yeah,
and you have obviously the steaks are one of your top sellers, and as you say, your favorite thing. But you also have chicken. You also have, a pre-made patties that you guys make in house. You have fish. We
have 9 different burgers. We actually do a veggie burger for people like Kim. There's
a lot of vegetarians
Kim that works there, that likes vegetarian. We do a delicious veggie burger. We do a salmon burger, and we do 7 different kinds of meat burgers, and everything from turkey,
lamb,
the lamb burgers. We do 2 different lamb burgers. We do the Greek burger. Sorry, the lamb burger, which is, we call it like a Greek hamburger, Greek style. With the seasonings, and then we do a Moroccan burger, which is lamb but Moroccan seasonings. We also do a butter chicken burger as well as our chicken burger. Chicken burger is the most popular, but the butter chicken burger is very, very popular as well. Texas burger, which is a beef burger, phenomenally popular, very, very good. It's actually my favorite. The lamb, Moroccan, and the Texas are my 3 favorites. So we do 9 different burgers. We do 16 different sausages. We make everything in-house. There are no preservatives, chemicals, or additives to any of them. No nitrites. It's just all pure, good quality seasoning and meat. Sausages, we do things like chicken with sun-dried tomato and shiitake mushrooms, turkey and cranberry, turkey honey dill. We do a Greek sausage that has feta cheese and kefalotiri, which is a Greek cheese, added to it with all the seasonings. I mean, it's endless, the variety that you can have and how you can make the meals different and very simple and very inexpensive.
And I mean, last but not least, you also have the prepared meals that are already there in the back right-hand corner, and you have a great selection of wine as well from all over the world. So it's pretty much a one-stop shop.
Yeah, and if you're barbecuing and you just don't feel like doing anything, we come in, pick up steak. We've got, I think, the world's best garlic bread at the front on the counter. We've got a huge variety of salads in the takeout counter. So you can come in, pick up your steak, pick up a salad, pick up a garlic bread, and you go home and there's dinner.
Yeah.
And it's very, very simple. And I will say, I want to tell people how to cook garlic bread on the barbecue, if you don't mind.
Go ahead. Absolutely.
Because a lot of people, we wrap it in foil. So people will put it in the oven and they'll just heat it up in the oven like you traditionally do garlic bread. What I do with mine is I actually take it out of the foil, let it come to room temperature. I separate it. So I open it out so it looks like two halves of a baguette. And then I lay it on the barbecue with the butter side up. And I have the heat on medium heat, and I let it warm up and slightly toast the outside crust of the bread. Then I turn the heat up to high once that side's toasted, and I turn it over butter side down. Now, the reason I heat it first with the butter side up is so that the butter melts and soaks into the bread, so the bread is now holding the butter in. Then I turn it over and I put the butter side down to the grill, and I get a little bit of butter dripping. You get a little bit of flare up, but you get that beautiful barbecue charring on the bread with a toasted baguette, toasted buttered baguette, but it's garlic bread. And it is so delicious when it's toasted that people will eat. Normally they'd eat one piece, they'll eat 4 and 5 pieces of it. It's so good.
I want one right now.
Yeah.
We need a barbecue here at the station.
Yeah. Other thing we do is ribs are very, very popular with us. Lamb, we bring in Manitoba lamb. We age the lamb a minimum of 21 days. Usually we'll go 28 to 35 days on it. Legs, we try and take them up over 42 days. And lamb aged 21 days is like butter. It's so delicious. You can't age everything the same amount of time. We actually age our baby back ribs as well. Baby back ribs that are 3 or 4 days old compared to baby back ribs that are 16 or 17 days old, night and day the difference in tenderness. And I tell people, never boil your ribs, because people over and over again say, okay, after I boil my ribs, what do I do? And I say, well, why do you boil your ribs? And they say, well, to make them tender. And I say, no, you're not making them tender. You're taking all the flavor out of them. The meat is already tender. When it falls off the bone, you've just broken down all that connective tissue so much that it just basically is disintegrated. There's a difference between falling apart and tender. Beef tenderloin is tender, but it doesn't fall apart. Stewing beef, you have to cook the daylights out of, and it falls apart. It's dry because you've sucked all the moisture out of it. When you boil your ribs, you make a delicious pork stock. Just like if I said to you, I want to make a chicken stock. You would take chicken bones or chicken, and you'd boil it. You get a delicious chicken stock. Well, that flavor has come out of the chicken. So when you boil your ribs, you're taking all that flavor out of the pork, putting it into the pot in the water, and then pouring it down the drain. Then you slather them with a barbecue sauce. You cook them up. I could tell somebody how to do ribs and they would flip over them, and they have over and over again. If you take your ribs, you don't even need barbecue sauces on them. You take your ribs, you just cook them, and it only takes about 30 to 35 minutes on a low to medium heat. Salt, pepper, I put garlic and oregano on them, and then when they're done, you drizzle olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, and lemon on them. You get a Greek-style rib. Delicious. Nothing else needed on them. The meat flavor is still there because you haven't boiled them. They're tender and they're outstanding.
Do you put them right on the barbecue, or do you wrap them in foil?
Right on the barbecue. Never in foil. If you put them in foil, you're steaming them. That's actually worse than boiling them because steam is hotter than water. So you're steaming them, and what you'll get when you're finished with them is a nice big puddle of liquid in your foil. That's all the juice and flavor that's come out of the meat. And unless you're going to make some kind of a sauce and use that stock that you've gotten out of there and pour it over, you've thrown all that flavor away. So never wrap them in foil. Just on the barbecue, low to medium heat, just to control your flare-ups. And you can go medium heat as long as you're not getting flare-ups. When you get flare-ups, turn your heat down. It'll kill the flare-up right away.
There you have it. How to cook your ribs at 8:45 in the morning. Never too early to talk about food in my books. Anyway, in conversation with George Andrews, the owner of G.J. Andrews Food and Wine Shop on Academy Road, talking about all their amazing food, not just everything. I'm always amazed when I go in there how much there is on the shelves in that shop. You know, when you look at it from the outside, you don't know how kind of big it is and long. and how much is inside. So I urge everybody, when you're driving down Academy Road, to make a stop there on your way home and pick up some amazing food to cook, or pre-prepared stuff as well, and grab a bottle of wine to go with it. So thank you for coming in this morning.
Well, thank you. And just I'll throw a little note out there for the people that are real food lovers, or with a food lover. Father's Day is coming up. When you've got ideas running through your head, what do I do for Father's Day? Put together, or even Mother's Day, put together a gift basket with barbecue sauces, mustard, sauces, different things. Throw some steaks in there, garlic bread. We put it all together for you. We do gift baskets all year round, and Father's Day baskets are actually very popular. And it just makes a wonderful, very, very tasty gift.
Yeah, I hope my kids are listening right now.
Yeah.
I could use that. Anyway, it's been a pleasure to chat with you. Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to come and see you
Pleasure to
soon
come in.
for sure.